Hello, everyone. We continue to put as much shalom as we possibly can into our Shabbat. This is 100, 161, heading into 162 days where there are still so many people in the hands of Hamas. And I hope that we are truly taking the time to think about what time frame that feels like. 161/162 as we're entering days without seeing family, without celebrating Shabbat, without relaxing, without any regular of our comforts like a shower or a couch. So please let's remember that as we enter Shabbat, 161 heading into 162 days of captivity. This Shabbat, we continue with the Torah portion called Pekudei. Pekudei means the records of. It actually, if you recall from last week, I talked about how last week's Torah portion, Vayakel, and this week's Torah portion, Pekudei, are often one. There are two different portions that are put together in 1 week. When they're paired in the certain years that those pairings happen. Not this year, they're separate. So last year we had Vayakel. This week we have Pekudei. They're very similar concepts. Last week was about, if you remember, the sort of grand view and vision of a tabernacle. And this week are the last minute details. I think last week I talked about the last minute pieces you put together if you buy something from IKEA. And so it's the last bits of putting everything together, because ultimately you see sort of on this side of me, there is the tent of meeting with the tabernacle in the center. And then there is the actual tabernacle, the completed one, what we think might have been the ultimate, the actual tabernacle. And so it's something for us to think about, because the Israelites finally finished building the tabernacle. It is literally the field of dreams moment. If you build it, they will come. It is the concept that the Israelites have built this object out of love and care, and also high level and beautiful materials, expensive materials, so that the presence of God won't dwell in it, but it will allow us to surround it, and then God can dwell in all of us. And so that is ultimately what the goal of this Torah portion is. It is the last Torah portion in the book of Exodus. And so we have to end the book here, because next week we start the book of Leviticus, of Vayikra, and Vayikra is really a fully focused ritual book, the whole book almost just focusing on ritual and the concepts of the sacrificial system, which we cannot do, by the way, without the tabernacle. So it fits really, really, really nicely. And so on this Shabbat, I invite us to think about the details. Last week, I think we thought it would be good to think about sort of the meta picture of in our lives, to frame what's going on in our world. As I mentioned about the hostages, that was sort of the larger picture of all of it. Today, I want us to be on this week, on this Shabbat, I want us to think about the details. What are the details in our life? Where are we dotting our I's and crossing our T's? And if we're not, can we do a better job of honing in on the details in our lives? Lastly, since we do end a book of the Torah, it's always important for us to say chazak, chazak, v'nid chazek, strength, and may we be strengthened. And so I hope that we will be. I hope that it'll give us strength for ourselves on Shabbat, and also to provide the continued hope and love for hostages, and for family members of hostages, and for our IDF soldiers, and for all of Israel. And so I hope that we can find that depth of strength, and come together as we go from strength to strength. I hope everyone has a lovely Shabbat. Services are at 6:30 tomorrow morning. We have our morning service and our Torah study at 8:30. Look forward to seeing you all soon, and of course, putting as much shalom as we can into our Shabbat.